Okay, so today we will see few other topics so one important topic we'll start with today is data source connections. Okay, so we have three types of connections in Tableau. Sorry, we have mainly two types of connections: live connection and extract connection. So remember, live connection, extract connection, and published data source. Published means this published data source may be either live connection or extract connection, but we are if we publish the data source to a Tableau server, right, then that is nothing but a published data source. So published is nothing but either live connection or extract connection, which is published to Tableau server. So that is called published data source. So we may call connections sometimes. We may call connections or we may call data sources also. Okay. So in general, data sources may be either live connection or extract connection. Okay, so if we go to Tableau, so in the Tableau, you see, I have already connected to two data sources. So orders is one data source and world indicators is second data source. Now I want to connect to one more data source. So if you want to connect to one more data source, simply go to data option, click on the new data source option. Okay. So just click on the Microsoft Excel. So here, just give me, okay, take any data source like B31 sample data here. Okay. So I'm just connecting to some Excel file which is in my local system. So that file is like B31 sample data. Just click on open. You see what is happening when I connect to any data source. So it will be showing connections. So I connected to a data source which is called Microsoft Excel. So I can see that connection information under connections. So I have connected to B31 sample data Excel file. Okay. So I see all the tables and all the sheets here. When you come to the right side, here I will see connections. So by default, this data source connection is a live connection by default. So if you want, we can make it extract actually. So if you want, we can create a extract connections. So what is the meaning of live connection and what is the meaning of extract connection? Okay, so for example, I have connected to this data source. By default, that is a live connection. In this data source, as of now, I have these names I have these many rows: first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. I have these connection. I have these rows. So today I have 5 rows only, and based on these 5 rows, I can create a dashboard today. Just try to understand. So based on these 5 rows, based on the data which is available today, I will create a dashboard today. Okay. Now this dashboard is published to Tableau server today. Okay, this dashboard is published to the Tableau server today. And when you open this dashboard tomorrow, okay, when you open this dashboard maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or whatever the time you open this dashboard in the Tableau server, this dashboard directly take the data from this data source actually. So this dashboard will display the data, whatever the data that is available in this data source. So while creating this dashboard, I have these 5 rows in the data. So this dashboard will display the data of these 5 rows. When I open this dashboard tomorrow, this data may change in the Excel file, right? So when I open this dashboard, the dashboard directly will connect to the data source only and it will show the data that is available in the Excel files. So that is called live connection. Okay. So just let me tell you an example. So this is the data that as of now that is available in the data source. So let me create a dashboard here with this data source. As of now, in this data source, Venkat, Ravi, and Rajesh. These are the three people available. Okay. So let me go to anyone new sheet here. So by default, it is a live connection. How to identify live connections? So very simple. If you see single cylinder, that is a live connection. If we see double cylinder, that is a extract connection. Remember. Okay. Now I'll simply drag a name into the row shelf. So as of now, I have these three names. Okay. So what I do simply is I'll simply save my dashboard. I'm just saving this dashboard. Okay. Now in the databases, who will modify the data? Okay, I'll just go to Tableau introduction part here. If I go to Tableau architecture, as we discussed initially, um, Tableau will take the data from the databases. Okay, as of now, we have taken Excel file as a database. In this Excel file, we have Rajesh, Ravi, and Venkat. Three persons are there. And every day, ETL people will be there, right? So these ETL people will dump the data or modify the data in the databases. Okay, so these ETL people will remove these people or will keep these people, and they will try to add the new persons every day to this database. So whenever the data changes in the database, our Tableau dashboard also should show the same data. Our Tableau dashboard also should show the same data. So that is possible with the help of live connection. So just to show you for example, let me open that file. Yeah, Excel file. This is the Excel file. Okay. So what I have done is like I just created a dashboard, which what is the sheet name here? Sheet 45. Okay. In this, it is displaying Rajesh, Ravi, and Venkat. Okay. I'm now closing my Tableau dashboard. And you see, I am modifying my data in this Excel file. So assume that I'm just introducing one more person like AAA. So maybe XYZ, make it XYZ, and make some date here. So Control V. Just remember what you are doing, because later I'll explain you only. I don't tell. Okay. So this person, AAA person, is added to the database on which date? Third date. So previously we have only date January 1st and January 2nd only. Okay. And forget about this sales amount and all this. Okay. Just forget about the sales amount, and you can have any number, anything here. Okay. Like that, you can enter anything. Now you see I'm saving my data. So who is changing the data in this Excel database? ETL persons. So just remember, we don't change the data in the databases. So there is a separate team, database team will be there. They will be changing the data in the databases. But what is the requirement in the Tableau? The requirement in the Tableau is whenever the data changes in the database, whenever data changes in the database, our dashboard also should show the same data. That is called live connection. So now what we do as a developer, what we do in the as a developer, what we do in the real time is we will create dashboard only one time only. So we have created the dashboard, right? And we save the dashboard. Now you see, just let me save this Excel file data. Sorry. Now I don't do anything to my Tableau dashboard. I'll simply go to my dashboard. I'll simply open my dashboard. So whenever the user opens this dashboard, or whenever someone opens this dashboard, right? This dashboard directly try to display this data from the Excel file only. Okay, this is the data source, right? You see now I can see a person here. Hope you understand. So this dashboard automatically displaying the latest data that is available in the database. That is called a live connection. When you open this dashboard will, if it is a live connection, this dashboard will directly get the data from the databases and it will display in the Tableau sheets or in the Tableau dashboards. That is called a live connection. Okay. Now I will tell you a few more things here. Hope you understand. So that is the meaning of live connection. You see, I'm just simply taking two old data here. One data set I'm taking here, that is A and B. As of now, person A and person B are available. So if you create a dashboard with the and I'm taking that this is the modified data. Okay, so this is the modified data. Hope you are able to understand. Anyone have any question as of now? So what is the meaning of live connection? Live connection will always takes that whenever the user open the dashboard, the live connection dashboard will directly go to the database and it will directly get the data from the databases. What is the data that is available in the database? It will directly get that data and it will display the data in the Tableau sheets what we have created earlier. That is a live connection. So here, for example, I just demonstrated with a simple example. So this is the existing data. This data contains A and B persons. And this is the modified database. So now the database people, what they have done, they have deleted this A and B persons and they have introduced only one person here, C. In this case, what is happening is the live connection is always shows the latest data that is available in the databases here. Okay. For our example, I have taken a new person here. I have added one more person here for our database. So that is the meaning of live connection. Anyone have any questions? Now I'll tell you what is the meaning of extract connection. So in the extract connection, we have two types of things. So in extract connections, we have full refresh and we have incremental refresh. So first, what is the meaning of extract? So extracting means we are downloading the data from the databases. I'll simply tell you one thing. So if you download anything from the internet, maybe any PDF file or Word document or anything, any data into your local system, what will happen? The downloaded data, that is called extracted data will remain same forever, right? The data will remain same for forever. That is the meaning of extract. So extract means we are downloading the data from the databases into your local system and you are saving that data in your local system. That's why extract connections are a bit faster than live connections. Live connection means it has to go to the database every time when you open the dashboard and it has to get the data from the databases. So we don't know databases where the databases are located. That's why. So extract means we are extracting the data from the databases. That is, we are downloading the data from the databases and we are storing that extracted data within our local system or within our dashboards. Within our Tableau dashboard only, we will save that dashboard, that extracted data. So that is called embedding data. So someone will ask you what is the meaning of embedding data. Embedding data means you can simply say that we will extract the data from the databases. We'll extract the data from the databases and we'll save the data into our Tableau dashboards, into our Tableau workbook. That is called embedding the data. Okay. So while extracting the data, And you understand what is the meaning of extract, right? Extracted data. What is the meaning of extracted data? Now we'll understand what is the meaning of full refresh and what is the meaning of incremental refresh. We'll understand. As I told you earlier, extracted data will remain forever as it is. It won't change. It won't change, right? Okay. Now let me first do the but we want to, as the extracted data will not change forever, but we have a requirement from the user like this. We have a requirement from the users like this. So they want to see the latest data actually. Maybe not every time they open the dashboard, but when the user open the dashboard every day in the morning time. For example, assume that I am the CEO, I'm the CEO of the company. I don't want the latest data every day, every time when I open the dashboard. But what is my requirement is, as a CEO, every day morning, 9 o'clock or 9 a.m. EST, I will open my dashboard. If I open my dashboard every day morning 9 a.m., I want to see the latest data that is available in the databases. I want to see the latest data that is available in the databases. So assume that as a CEO, like this CEO may open the dashboard at random times in a day. So he opened the dashboard at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 3 p.m., or 8 p.m. So he opens this dashboard randomly in a day at random times. But he is not bothering about all the timings in a day. But he is bothering about at 9 a.m. only every day morning. When he opens at 9 a.m., then only he want to see the latest data. He is not bothering about other timings. So what we have to do is, before 9 a.m., every day before 9 a.m., we have to refresh this extract connection. We have to refresh the extract data sources. So what will happen when we refresh the extract connection or extract data sources means, when we refresh the extracted data, the Tableau will directly go to the database, and whatever the latest data that is available in the database, that will bring to the extracted data again. So that is the meaning of refresh. So in the refresh, what will happen? In the refresh, when you do the refresh of the extracted data, Tableau will delete the old data. Tableau will entirely deletes the old data, and it will populate the extracted data with the new data. Okay, and it will show that new data in the Tableau dashboards. So that is the meaning of extracted connection. Extracted with full. That is the meaning of refresh actually. That is the meaning of refresh. That is the meaning of refresh. And what is the meaning of full refresh and what is the meaning of incremental refresh? So I simply demonstrated here with a simple example. You see, this is the extracted data. Okay, this is the extracted data actually, and this is the new data. So ETL people, what the ETL people have done is, ETL people deleted the existing data in the databases, and they have entered only one person here. Person C here, they have entered. And when you refresh this extract connection, what will happen? The Tableau will, whatever the data that is available in the database, the Tableau will directly show that data only here. That is the meaning of full refresh. In the full refresh, it will delete the existing data in the extracted connection, and it will populate this extract connection with the new data. So when you refresh the extracted connection with full refresh, the user can see that you can see that entire data that is available in the database only. That is with this new data only he can see. But what is the meaning of incremental refresh? Incremental refresh is, incremental refresh means Tableau will keep the existing data as it is. Okay, what is the existing data? That is A and B. So Tableau will keep the existing data as it is, and even though the database people will remove this data, old data, and they will enter the new data like person C in the database, the incremental refresh will show that new data that is available in the database. So what is the meaning of incremental refresh? Incremental refresh will keep the existing data as well as it will identify the new rows. It will populate the new rows also. New data also it will populate in the extracted connection, the extract data source. So in the incremental refresh, it keeps the existing data and it will identify what are the new rows that is added to the database. So how the Tableau will identify the new rows that are added to the database means based on a date field. Okay. So for example, the database people, in general, the database people, what they do is here, when they are adding the new rows, right? When they are adding the new rows, they will use one more new column also here. The date field also they will use. So just for identification purpose, what the database people will do is when they are adding the new records or new data to the database, right? To identify that, they will be having one date field also. Okay, so they will try to add this date field manually, or just assume that one more person is there, a person is there. This person has made the transaction at this particular date. So based on the transaction date or based on a date field, Tableau will identify the new records in the extracted data, in the extract connection. So let me tell you with an example this, the overall I have explained, right? Let me explain you this through the example what we are discussing now. So as of now in the database, we have these people like this person, this person, this person, right? Okay. So let me remove this person. This is a new person introduced, right? Let me remove this person, save my data. Now go to Tableau here. So to extract the data, what we can do, we can extract the data in the multiple connections. So just go to the data source page again, data source page. So here just simply click on the extract button. So when you click on the extract button, the data will be extracted from the databases into your local system. So you can extract the data here itself or go to the sheet, right click on the data source, click on the extract data option. Now a window will be opened here. So this is the window. So this window will be appear bit differently in the older versions. So if you are having version Tableau version before 2022 or 2023, so the window will be opened there also, but the interface is bit different there. But we have all these options there also. Okay. So what we do, just go here. Just you see, when you're trying to create the extract database, in the existing connection we have like this. We have extract option, extract button will be there actually. There will be a button called extract button. Okay, you can simply click on the extract button to extract the data from the databases into your local system. But in the new versions, we are seeing save settings option. Save setting means save settings also will extract the data into your local system. So don't want to repeat multiple times. Just remember in the older version, you will be seeing extract button here. So when you click on the extract button, that will extract the data from the databases into your local system or into your dashboard workbooks. In the new versions, instead of extract button, we will be seeing save settings button. So when you click on the save settings button, it will extract the data from the databases into your local system. Okay. As I told, while extracting the data itself, we have to make sure that it should be a full refresh or it should be incremental refresh. So by default, full refresh is available by default for all the extract connections. By default, full refresh is available for all the databases, all the extract connections. But if you want to make this extract connection as incremental refresh, right? Then what we have to do is go to Tableau. We have a button which is called incremental refresh button. In the incremental refresh button, just click on the incremental refresh option. Click on the incremental refresh option. And here we will be having multiple tables, right? So we have to select one table here. And from this one field, how you want to identify the new rows. So if any new data is entering into the database, right? How you want to identify those new rows. So we have to mention that column here. So I want to identify the new rows based on a date field. So what you can do, simply click on this drop down and simply select your column here. So most of the time in the real time, we can identify the new rows based on a date column. Okay, date column. But sometimes we can identify the new rows based on the, so in the database, what will we have in for each and every table, we have an ID column is there. We have a ID column will be there in the real time. Most of that, sometimes maybe ID column or serial number, right? What is the meaning of serial number? For each and every row, the serial number will be different here, right? The each and every row, the serial number will be different. So when they have the when they enter the new records in the database, for those records, they will be adding the serial number also or ID column also. So here you can select date field or you can select ID column also if that is available here. So based on your requirement. But in the interviews, if they ask you how to identify the new rows, means you can say that we are using date column, or you can say we are using one ID column is there. So based on this ID column, we are identifying the new rows. Okay, you can say like that. And sometimes this ID column is called primary key. Okay, and I'm just telling you one more concept also, primary key here. What is the meaning of primary key? So based on the primary key, we can identify the new columns. Okay, now what is the meaning of primary key? Means primary key is not a duplicated one. Primary key is unique for each row. For each and every row, the primary key will be unique here. So for example, 1 is assigned to the first row, right? 2 is assigned to the second row. So this 2 is not assigned again to the other row. So these IDs, this primary key will not repeat again to the other records. That is the meaning of primary key. Primary key means it is not a duplicated one. It is a unique for each and every row in the database table. So based on this primary key, we can identify the new columns in the extract in the incremental refresh. So as of now, just assume that. So they will ask you one more also. Here you can select either date columns. So they will ask you a simple question. While identifying the new rows, which columns you can select here, they will ask you. You can say that we can select either date columns or we can select primary keys. This primary key should be a measure actually. So you can say we can select either date columns or we can select only measures here for identifying the new rows. So which measure you can select most of the time is ID column, which contains 1, 2, 3 like that. So this is a measure actually. Okay. So remember, for identifying the new rows, we can select either date columns or we can select only measures. This measure may be primary key, which is not a duplicated, which is unique for each and every row in the database. We cannot select here dimension columns. We cannot select dimension columns here. That's why you see here, I can see date field as well as sales amount field, which is a measure here. These two only I can see here. I don't see dimensions here. Maybe name like that. We have other fields also, right? We don't see those actually. Okay, hope you understand. So, for example, if you don't select this incremental refresh, right, incremental refresh option, what will happen? By default, it is a full refresh. But if you want to make this extract as an incremental refresh, then only we have to select this incremental refresh option. Okay. So minimum days to, like, we have few more options also here. Maybe you can ignore the other options. But just let me tell you, just minimum date range, you can select, I can say 0 years, you can say. And we have the last 0 years of data from the date will always be refreshed. Okay. So you can mention these are the new options maybe that are available in the tablet new versions. So you can make like last 1 year data, last 2 years data. You can mention here which thing you want to refresh here. Okay, last the last 0 year of data from refresh date. Okay, now you can go to advanced options. In the advanced option, you will be seeing replace the last rows added option and don't replace the last rows added options are there. So you can just go through Google here. So I'll just tell you a simple thing here. What is the meaning of replace last rows added? Okay, just let me explain this. What I have discussed till now. If you want, you can go through Google for this. If I have time, I will explain this bit later. So for now, don't go for any advanced options. Just select this date field. Just click on the save settings. See, when you click on the save settings, the tablet is trying to extract the data from the database into your local system, right? So it is trying to save that extracted data in your local system. That's why it is asking in which location you want to save this data in your local system. So you can select some folder here and you can save that data. But remember one thing here, while saving this extract into your local system, everything should be have a file type, right? For example, if you want to save your Excel file, what is the file type here? Excel SX. If you want to save PDF files, the what is the extension? What is the file type for that? PDF. If you want to save photos, right? What is the file type of the photos? Maybe JPNG, right? JPG format, right? So here also, when you try to save the extract, that is Tableau data extract into your local system, the default file type is .hyper files. So in the interviews, if they ask you what is the meaning of .hyper, you can say that .hyper means if all the extracts will be stored in our local system in the form of .hyper files. You can say like this, or you can say like this. When we try to extract the data from the databases into our local systems, so whenever we try to extract the data from the databases into your local system, these extracts will be stored into your local system in the file format of .hyper. Okay, so like that you can say, as of now, I'll go to my downloads, save somewhere in the local system. That is not a problem. Okay, you see, these extracts are now you see it is extract the data is extracted now. So how to identify the extracts here? These extracts you can identify based on the double cylinder. Okay. Now what I will do is save your dashboard, save your dashboard here. Now close the Tableau dashboard. Now I will go to my database here. In the database, I am entering one more new person here, B person. Person B I am entering here. Control C. Actually, we haven't refreshed the data before the date that person, right? Okay, no problem. Just control V. Assume that this data is available in the fourth data. So I'm just entering these two only. So the ETL person has entered the new data into the databases. What is the person name? Person name is B. This person is a new data, and which date he is entered? Fourth date, 4th January. So our Tableau incremental refresh, what it will do? Our incremental refresh will identify these new rows based on this date field. Whatever we have selected while extracting the incremental refresh option. Okay, let's save this data. Go to our Tableau dashboard. Just open it. Tableau dashboard. Open the Tableau dashboard again. You see what happened? This extract still showing the existing data only, old data only it is showing. This extract will not show the new records that are entered by the ETL people. Why? Because this is the extracted data. This extracted data will remain as it is forever until you refresh it. Okay, so this is how the extracted data will not show the new data that is entered into the databases. If you want to show the new data in this extract connection, right, we have to refresh the extracts. So in the Tableau dashboard, how to refresh the data sources means simply right click on the extract option, go to the extract option. So in the extract option, we have two types of things here. We have full refresh option is there. We have full refresh. We have incremental refresh options are available here. So this full refresh is always available. This incremental refresh option is available only when you select the option like incremental refresh option while creating the extracts. Okay, if you select that option while incremental refresh in the while taking the extract, right, then only this option is available here. Otherwise, it cannot be available here. So just go to the extract option. So this is how we can refresh the data sources in the Tableau desktop. So there are different methods to refresh the extracts in the Tableau desktop and Tableau server. So this is how we can refresh the extracts in the Tableau desktop. Okay, so you can click on the incremental refresh or you can click on the full refresh also. As of now, what I will do, just click on the full refresh button. Let's see what will happen. Just click on yes. Yeah, you see, when I do the full refresh, you see what happened. When we do the full refresh, what will happen? I told you the whole data will be deleted entirely into this extract. In the extract, entire whole data is deleted, and this extract will be filled with the new data that is available in the database. So this is the new data that is available in the database. So that is the meaning of full refresh. It will delete the entire whole data, and it will populate the extract will be populated with new data that is available in the database tables. Okay. Now let's see what is the meaning of incremental refresh. Now what I will do is, now I will go to my database here. I will delete all the rows here. All I will keep only Ravi here. Okay. Just keep the Ravi only here and delete all the rows here in the database. Now I enter one more person here that is called X person. And this X person is having the dates is entered into the database on a 5th January. Assume that 5th January this person is entered into the database. Now just okay, just remove the this Ravi person also. Remove all the rows. Okay, remove all the rows. Don't do anything. Just remove all the rows and just save your database. Okay. Now in the database we have only one person which is called person X. Now go to Tableau. Now, what is the incremental refresh we'll do? I'll explain one more time. Incremental refresh means this is the existing data, right? Incremental refresh means Tableau will keep this existing data as it is. It keeps the existing data as it is, and to this existing data, it will add the new rows also. What is the new row that is entered in the database? X row. So along with the old data, it will simply add the new rows to the extracted database, to the existing data in the incremental refresh. Let's see what will happen. Just click on the incremental refresh button. Let's see. Just click on the incremental refresh. You see what happened when you do the incremental refresh. Along with the old data, it will bring the new data here. Even though this old data is not available in the database, you see in the Excel file, that data is not available. Still, incremental refresh, what it will do, it will keeps the existing data, old data as it is, and it will add these new rows to the existing data in the refresh, in the extract connection. Now my extract contains old data as well as this new rows also. That is the meaning of incremental refresh. In the incremental refresh, it will identify the new rows and it will add those new rows to the existing old data without deleting the existing data. Even though the data is deleted in the database, Now, sometimes what the user will do, now if I do the full refresh, what will happen? If I do the incremental refresh, this new row is added to the existing database, existing data. But if I do the full refresh, what will happen? If I do the full refresh, what the Tableau will do is, Tableau will delete entire this existing data and it will populate whatever the data that is available in the database. What is the data that is available in the database now? X person only available in the database. So when you do the full refresh, just click on the full refresh. So it will ask you something here. Performing a full refresh can take a long time. Like that, it will ask you. Just click on yes. Now you see, once the full refresh is completed, existing data is deleted entirely, and this is populated with the new data that is available in the database. Hope you understand. Uh, so so that example I have given here before refresh and after refresh. So just let me tell you in short manner other things here. So we have discussed about this live connection, extract connection, right? What is the meaning of published data source? Published data source is nothing but either live connection or extract connection, which is published to the database, published to the Tableau server. Okay, so they will be asking you what is the differences between this live connection and extract connection in detailed manner sometimes. So just let me explain you a bit here. So as you know, as we discussed, I told you everything, right? But what is the new point I want to tell about this live connection means, like, so live connections, no need to refresh the live connection. If you create a dashboard with a live connection, whenever you open the dashboard, the data will be automatically uh, the Tableau will automatically get the data from the databases and it will display the data into the dashboard. So no need to refresh the live connections. For extracts only, we have to do the refresh. So for extract only, we have a full refresh option, and for extracts only, we have incremental refresh option. So let me see, I have mentioned that here or not. Okay, maybe I just forgot here to mention that full refresh and incremental refresh. Okay, for extracts only, we have that incremental refresh and full refresh options are there. We have to refresh the extracts only. And one more important thing I want to tell about this live connection extract connection is the extract means the Tableau will download the data from the databases into your local systems. So when it is downloading the data, it may take some time here based on the data size. For example, assume that You are downloading a movie into your local system. So if the movie is about 10 minutes only, right? Then how much time it will take to download? Maybe 1 minute it will take to download the movie into your local system. So if your movie contains like 10 minutes means just say it is like 100 MB of data, 100 MB. If the movie is 100 MB, to download this or to extract this 10 MB data, the tableau may take only 1 minute. But if the data or movie size is like about 1 GB, the tableau may take, it will take more time, right? If the data size is more, it will take more time to download the data. It may take more time to extract the data. So as the data increases, your tableau desktop may take, like in this case, maybe 30 minutes to extract the data. So based on the data size, it may take time to extract the data in your local system. Okay, this is one thing you have to remember. In the interviews, they will ask you like this question also. How much time it will take you to extract the data? So you can say simply based on the data size, it may vary. So in general, we have 700 MB of data in one of the project. So to download this entire 700 MB data, it is taking 30 minutes for us in one of the project. And in one of the project, you can say we have 1.5 GB of data. To refresh, to extract this entire data, it is taking like around 1 hour time. You can say like this. You can say some random times they don't identify, but this is how you have to remember. The extract will take time. Okay. Now in the Tableau desktop, to extract the data, how much time it is taking? For example, to extract the 1.5 GB data, it is taking 1 hour in the Tableau desktop. But in the Tableau server, right? In the Tableau server, it will take only maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes only it will take. This is also you have to remember. So that's why in the recent Tableau versions, so we are not creating the extracts in the Tableau desktop. We can create the extracts in the Tableau server only. Okay, in the Tableau server only we are creating the extracts actually in the nowadays. Why it will take less time in the Tableau server to refresh the data or to extract the data? Either to refresh the data or to extract the data, Tableau servers will take less time. Why? Because your local system is less configured. Your local system may maximum 10 GB of RAM, but Tableau servers are 64 GB RAM, and high-speed internet connections will be there in the tab that is Tableau server. So it will take very less time to refresh the data in the Tableau servers. Okay, just remember. So I mentioned here how to refresh the data in the Tableau desktop and in the Tableau servers. So I just want to show you how to publish this data to the Tableau server. So before that, I want to sign into the Tableau server, sign into the Tableau cloud server. Okay, maybe we can see this how to publish to the Tableau server and how to refresh the data source in the Tableau server maybe a bit later. For now, remember, we can, if we want to publish the data source separately, you can simply right click on the data source, simply click on the publish to server option. If you want to publish the data sources separately. So if you want to publish the data sources separately, you have to publish each and every data source separately into the Tableau server like this. Right click on the data source, click on the publish to server. And if you want to publish other data source also, click on the right click on the other data source, click on the publish to server option. But I want to publish all these data sources. I don't want to publish these data sources separately. I want to publish all these data sources along with the Tableau workbook in a single time. In that case, what we do, go to server option, simply click on the publish workbook option. When you click on the publish workbook option, what will happen is all the sheets and all the dashboards will be published to the Tableau server along with the data sources also. Hope you understand. So just let me repeat one more time and we'll close this. In Tableau, you can publish the data sources, each and every data source separately into the Tableau server. So there are you can publish all these data sources along with the workbook. We don't publish the data sources separately. But when you publish the workbook to the Tableau server, automatically all these data sources will be published along with the workbook into the Tableau server. Now, if you publish the only workbook into the Tableau server, right, we have to refresh this workbook. So in the Tableau server, we can refresh. Okay, just remember while refreshing, we have two things. So just remember the things I am telling, but later I will show you in the later class. I will show you in the Tableau server. I can refresh the workbook also, or I can refresh the data source also. When we refresh the data sources, or when we refresh the workbook actually. So when you refresh the data sources means if you publish these data sources separately to the Tableau server, then we have to refresh the data sources separately. Each data source we have to refresh each data source separately in the Tableau server. Otherwise, if you publish the workbook without without publishing these data sources separately, right? Then in that case, what we can do is you can simply refresh the workbook only. When you refresh the workbook, what will happen is all the data sources within that workbook will be refreshed automatically when you refresh the workbook itself. So it is a live connection, right? Like for live connection, it won't refresh because it is a live connection. So these two are the extracted data sources, right? So these data sources will be refreshed when you refresh the workbook itself. But if you publish this data source separately to the Tableau server, we have to refresh this data source separately. So assume that out of these three data sources, only one data source I published to the Tableau server and other two are embedded within the dashboard. Now, when you refresh the workbook, what will happen is these two data sources will be refreshed. Only this data source will be refreshed. Why? Because this is live connection. This data source is not refreshed actually. Why? Because if it is a published data source, you have to refresh this data source separately in the Tableau server. So this is called published data sources. Hope you understand. But let me tell you how to publish the dashboards and data sources to the Tableau server. So we will discuss that thing in the next class. So in the next class, we will see MySQL. So we can connect how to connect to the MySQL database. So I will show you how to connect to a MySQL database and how to publish the data sources and how to publish the dashboards and how we can refresh these things in the next class. We'll see how to do this. So as of now, I think this is fine. Anyone have any question? But in this class, just remember, just practice whatever we discussed in the class only. How I have done in the Excel file, how I have taken this Excel file data, and how I did in the class, how to the incremental refresh, what is the full refresh, right? Just do the same thing in the in our practice. I try to remember first. First, try to remember. I try to note down somewhere what we have discussed in the class. Then only practice. So we have a one more concept in the tableau which is called file types. So I told you dot hyper, right? So dot hyper is a file type for the extract data sources. So we have file types for workbooks and we have file types for the data sources separately. So for data sources we have seen dot hyper. So every extracted data extracts will be stored in the local system in the format of dot hyper file. Okay, and so this is the new versions from the 10.5 version. Okay, let me tell you that also. Since 10.5 version, all the extracts are saved into your local system in the dot hyper format. But before 10.5 version, All the extracts are stored into your local system in the format of .td, .td format. What is the meaning of .td? Means Tableau data extract. But not sure why. Since 10.5 version, they have changed the system. So they are storing in the .hyper format, all the extracts. So what are the file types for data sources? They will ask you in the interviews. You can say these two things. Before 10.5 version, .td format, file type is .td. After 10.5 version, extracts are stored in the .hyper format. What is the meaning of .tdsx? Okay, just let me simply explain .tdsx. You are publishing one data source to the Tableau server. Okay, when you publish a data source to the Tableau server, that is called published data source. So when you try to download this data source from the Tableau server into your local system, that is saved in the format of .tdsx or .tds format. So published data sources, while downloading into this your local system, those will be stored in the format of .tds or .tdsx. Okay, so when you connect to a published data source, you will be seeing one more option which is called create local copy option. So when you see this local copy option, means just to go to the tableau here, just click on the right click on the data source. If this data source is a published data source, then somewhere here you see create local copy option. While creating this local copy option, that local copy is saved as a .tdsx. Just remember. See, all these are interview questions only. They won't ask you how to show them. Okay. Just remember, for published data sources, when you right click on it in your local in the Tableau desktop, there will be a separate option which is called create local copy option will be there. So that local copy is saved in the .tds or tds. And for workbooks, all the workbooks will be saved into your local system either .twb format or .twbx format. I'll go to my Tableau here, go to the file option, go to the save as option. You see what is happening? While saving the workbook, this workbook may be stored in the .twb format, or you can change it to .twbx also. So TW means packaged workbook. TWB means BX means packaged workbook. TW means simply workbook only, Tableau workbook only. So there are some differences will be there for this TWB and TWBX. I have written those here. Just go through this, or I will explain in some time, maybe tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll connect tomorrow. Anyone have any question here?
No, and I'm good actually.
Okay, so this is very important with respect to the interview point of time as well as with respect to the real time also. So if you are taking any interviews in the India or in the US, right? These are very important, particularly in the US clients. US clients will be more stressed on this uh, live connection, extract connection, and data integration. Okay, so tomorrow we will see one more concept also that is called data modeling. So US people or India, most of the time US people will be more interested in data modeling part. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see along with this how to refresh and all those in the server. We'll see this data modeling also tomorrow. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.